What's up, everybody? This is the one and only yours truly, Sugikana, and today I'm going to give my first impressions on this fairly new game called Drop Zone. And Drop Zone is this sort of like a compilation between mobile elements, strategy elements, and even some sports elements blended together as one. And the way it works, you have essentially 3 game modes. The 1 versus 1 is essentially the main mode. Then you have 2 versus 2, and then you have K-op, which is essentially up to 3 players can play against the computer on these sort of like holdout missions. And the way it works in the 1v1 and 2v2 is that every game will last for 15 minutes or less if the opponent decides to surrender. And the cool thing about it is if you're in your lunch break or you don't have much time to play a full League game or full Dota game or another game for that matter, you can just hop into Drop Zone and play a 15-minute game and you're done, or even less than 15 minutes, as I said, if the opponent surrenders. And the unique thing about this game is that you actually, instead of controlling a 1 character, you control 3. And people who have really a lot of trouble like using characters like Mordekaiser or Annie in League of Legends, or a bunch of the Dota 2 heroes that have multiple summons and really struggled on the multi-control or played StarCraft 2, they actually done a very good like settings and options and hotkeys to control all the 3 characters at the same time. And they're not really like overloaded with different abilities, so essentially when you level up in the game, you have to choose which of the 3 characters you will level up. And based on which type of loadout you will have, these characters will obtain abilities as they level up. And the cool thing about the game is you have a lot of customization. And I've talked about this in a couple of the other reviews. Sometimes if there's too much customization, that can be a bit of a learning curve for some people, and some people might be discouraged to learn up a lot of good loadouts, what's really working, what is the best build, and that can be sometimes a bit intimidating process for new players. And hopefully they will do some type of tutorials or guides like to do the best type of things or like doing the best loadouts. There's a good tutorial series on the game which will tell you how to learn the game or how to control your characters, how to combo the abilities. And I think the really cool thing about it right now, there's 12 different characters. They vary from supports, and usually supports have summons. So summons are characters that will fight for you and deal extra damage. And then you have DPS, and then you have tanks. Tanks usually have a lot of AoE abilities. And you can do, like, you can run 3 carries if you want, or 3 tanks. You can do all of these combinations you want, which is really cool that you have these. A lot of customization, a lot of different loadouts and setups you can do and compositions. And the idea on the map is essentially you have different objectives. On the middle of the map you have this sort of like a place where you retrieve these gems. And the team that, or the player who has most gems by the end of the 15 minutes will win. So you will get these gems by destroying these enemy camps, or essentially neutral creek camps around the map. And once you have destroyed them, or the main building or the main creature, they kind of look like Zerg, so they got a bit of a rip-off there from StarCraft, but I don't mind. And once you destroy them, these gems drop, and one of your characters has to pick it up. All the characters can carry only 1 gem, and then you have to go in the middle of the map and retrieve it. And there's a bit of like a channeling time, and the enemy can kill your hero meanwhile, or do something about it, or stun it to interrupt the retrieving of the gem. And essentially when the heroes die, their gems drop, so essentially the enemy can come kill you when you're retrieving the gems and take the gem and, you know, retrieve it themselves. And there's a lot of different strategy. You can like split up your 3-man unit to different locations around the map. I don't think that is the most viable thing to do unless you're scouting around the map. You have these vision control points that you also can control over the maps. You have vision over the map, you know where the enemy is going. Then you have the base where you can heal up, and then you obviously have the enemy camps, which vary a bit on different on difficulty. I think there's 2 points around, at least on certain maps. There are many maps in the game that have stronger creeps, which you can't do probably on the very beginning of the game. And it is very interesting type of a setup. I don't know how fun it's gonna be for a long term I played a couple of games. I wasn't instantly bored when I was with other games. The sci-fi setting could work. There hasn't really been a MOBA that has been able to really chunk out that sci-fi setting. I think Supernova really tried it, but Supernova was very, very slow, and I didn't like the armor system. I thought you could actually control units in there. I think Drop Zone is much more entertaining than Supernova. The graphics are really good. The character designs are really, really nice. There are not many skins around the game just yet. And if you buy, I believe, the Commander package, I think you get like all of the heroes inside the game. You can unlock obviously them with the in-game currency or with real money, and then you can you know, also get chests which you can buy, and the chests will have different abilities which you can equip to different types of units. And there's kind of a lot of abilities in the game which will take some time to learn which are the best. Do you want to take abilities which you only unlock at level 3, so go for a very late game type of a setup, or you go for one that has everything unlocked at level 1, for example. And I think there's a lot of customization in the game. There is a lot of opportunities and like different setups that you can do. So a lot of diversity, which I do like, but sometimes, as the quote goes, paralysis by choice, which I've talked about at least in one video before, where if you have too many options, you might become too paralyzed and having a harder time to make a decision. So usually when decisions are narrowed down, people are usually able to do decisions much easier. It's easier to choose between three different things from like 100 different choices. Whatever it is, you go to ice cream van that has 100 different flavors or 3 different flavors. Once you go to the 3 different flavors, it's much easier. Or you have to pick a girlfriend from 100 candidates versus 100,000. Okay, it's gonna be really hard. Okay, so but it is still on early access. Not all of the elements are there. I think they're adding much more PvE content on the game, and I believe that might be something that people might want to play, just the PvE stuff, not the PvP. So those who are probably into StarCraft or something, and it's going to be free to play. Let's remember that early access is $20, but definitely I do believe it's an okay game. It has a lot of new ideas, but I think maybe in today's gaming climate, which is going to more casual route, it might be hard to get people to play 1 versus 1 games, and they're focusing quite a lot on the 1 versus 1 game. The 2 versus 2 mode might be something that they should probably focus on a bit more instead of going for the co-op route, because I believe that could be perhaps the best setting for the game to grow. I don't think 1 versus 1 games can be that successful for the long term, and at least not on the free-to-play market. I really can't think of anything that has really succeeded on the strategy or the mobile market that has been 1 versus 1. StarCraft 2 is probably one of the bigger games on the space that is 1 versus 1 on a very competitive setting. But thanks for watching this first impressions video. I will do full review on the game once it launches out of early access. I think it's unfair to review it now when the game is not really fully developed, and they will be adding more content, more pilots in the game. Right, there's 12. I think they're working on many more, and there's probably going to be more abilities, in-game tournaments, and a lot of other stuff that they're going to be planning to add on the game. And obviously it needs maps as well. And as I said, thanks for watching. I would appreciate you subscribing. You will be seeing more MOBA content on this channel as always. And cheers, and thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.